Hello everybody, it's me, Beau. Today we have a fun show for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about some of my top, most helpful video reviews that I have ever produced as indicated by the numbers themselves. These are not necessarily my personal favorite reviews, but they're the ones that get the most traction, the most views, and the most clicks. And you, my loyal audience, are the ones who have the final word. You are the ones who determine whether or not my content is good or bad. You know, it's a funny thing about that because I have poured so much of my life into certain projects. I have gone to Kathmandu, Nepal, and have produced films for incredible people there. That's what I do as an occupation. I am a nonprofit film studio, and since 2010, 2011, I've gone all over the world to over 33 different countries filming for amazing people out there who love God and love people. And my job is to be the megaphone for those people. So you may be wondering, well, Beau, where are you going with this? Well, I pour a lot of time, effort, sweat, blood, tears into these projects. Some of them can be a little emotionally traumatizing. Believe me, I'm not naturally like this. You may think, wow, Beau, how many cups of coffee have you had today? I've actually had one cup of coffee. You should see me on two. And yet I pour so much time into these projects. But guess what? Guess which projects are the ones that go viral? Yep, it's the ones that I film on my iPhone and I put zero editing into it, and it's one take and I'm holding it at arm's length like this, walking along the streets of my town of Enumclaw or something, and that's the one that goes viral. Yeah, why? And so a quick little thing here. If anybody ever says, well, you need to go to film school in order to be successful in the film world, that's silly beans, absolute silly town. Throw them out to the silly geese. Because in this day and age, it is content based. Now, quality is important, obviously. You know, my nice little setup right here. I've got my phone, I've got 3-point lighting, I've got a lawnmower going outside my window to try to bomb my audio. All sorts of fun things like that. Now, quality is important, but what is more important than quality these days on social media and in the video world is content. They say content is king. And so you have seen viral videos, right? Where people are holding up a phone in vertical mode. Oh, shame. Vertical mode. How could you? Horizontal. That is what a true filmmaker does. You know, because then it's that anamorphic aspect ratio and it looks good in the cinema, right? How many movies have you seen in the cinema that's filmed in portrait mode? And yet, these are the videos that go viral. They take off. So frustrating. Now, there are certain elements that make a video viral. I at one point actually went through some fantastic elements that I thought would be just a formula for making a viral video. But at the end of the day, you just have to roll the dice and see what happens. And many of my videos have gone viral. Totally unpredicted, except for one. I knew it would go viral. I knew it. It was a scare prank video. I submitted it to some people for a film festival and they didn't like it. I didn't win. And so I turned up my nose and I said, fine, I'm going to upload this to my own YouTube channel. And you just watch how successful it's going to be. It just took off millions upon millions of views. If you've ever seen it on YouTube, it's a guy who throws a printer out of a window because he gets scared. Anyway, it's one of the first scare prank videos. Yes, my little hipster self is just said it was one of the first. But enough about that. Not only is this show right here entertaining, hopefully, but it's also educational. I'm not here to oversell you on anything. If you see any of the things in the carousel below that strike your fancy, sure, go ahead and make the purchase. If you're looking for a carbon monoxide detector to try to save your family's life, if you don't want it, well, no skin off my nose. Did you see how I just pressured you there? That's why they call us influencers, because we manipulate people's emotions into buying things that they don't need. No, that's silly. I would never do that. And that's why I think I've accumulated so many people so quickly following me, over 2,000 people following me, is simply because I don't try to oversell anything. I used to sell credit cards at Costco. I know. If you're a Dave Ramsey fan, right now you're just going to say, how dare you, Beau? This was before my Dave Ramsey days and teaching Financial Peace University. But I didn't complain. Everybody else complained, like, I don't want to sell credit cards. And I was just like, sure. It's a part of my faith to do what I'm told to do and do it to the glory of God, do it to the best of my ability. And if that means selling American Express credit cards, which in retrospect was some people didn't need those credit cards and I sold it to them. But my line was, are you looking for a new credit card? And sometimes you could see the hurt in their faces and they could say, boy, I have so many and I have so much debt right now. And at that point I just said, this isn't for you then. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to me. So long, and thanks for all the fish. And then some people, the credit card did work for them. Those with self-control. Works just fine. But I guess where I'm going with this is that back in my day, I would sell credit cards, and for some people it worked and other people's it didn't work. And that's perfectly okay. That is okay. There's no judgment here. Now, some of these reviews that I have produced in my life have kind of weird products, like the one that you're seeing in the carousel down below. If you're watching on Amazon, if you're over on my YouTube or Facebook, I can't see you guys. You can comment all you'd like. I have no idea what you're saying. Now, if you do actually want me to respond or be offended, hop over to Amazon and chat on there. Now, if you're on Amazon, you're seeing a picture frame being highlighted right now. This is a great example of where I picked up this thing off of Amazon. I wanted to know if it was properly packaged. It showed up in the mail, and it's this 12 by 18 poster. So not like a gigantic poster, but just kind of one of those little posters that you would see on a college campus hung around saying, please, please come to my one-man show. I most certainly didn't beg people to do that. And so this poster, very manageably, easily sized, and it just looks wonderful in this frame. And so I made a short and sweet little video on my phone with no professional equipment whatsoever. And yet it took off. It was like my #1 seller yesterday. And I'm just like, what is going on here? I have documentaries where I have flown to Uganda and I have produced these things and they get 20% of the views. And it's a better story in Uganda. So what is it with our materialistic world? I don't know. I won't rant anymore, but hey, if you're looking for picture frames, they're great picture frames, okay? All right, but first, what is necessary for a show? You need a bumper. Otherwise, it's not professional. Roll it. And back we are. Isn't that just so professional looking? Which, by the way, you know what? At some point, I'm gonna comment on this bumper right here as we go through there, because there's some little snapshots and everything. You're probably wondering, what are those from? There are whole stories and adventures surrounding those little snapshots in that little bumper. But isn't that fascinating how we are creatures of habit and we love that bumper? Whether you're watching Darkwing Duck or DuckTales or Aladdin or Seinfeld, they always have like pretty much the same bumper. Except for Seinfeld, that was rather unique. He always had a different bit. But it was for the most part the same format. You know, he was in the nightclub and he was talking to people. And it's just fascinating psychologically how we creatures love these things. I bet that many of you can recite Gilligan's Island right now, that theme song, because you've probably heard it 100, if not 1,000 times, or Hogan's Heroes, or Combat. You know the music by heart, and that's because although we creatures love change, we love surprises, which is the show itself, we still want that element of familiarity, which is that bumper at the beginning. It just kind of grounds us and puts us at ease. Psychologically, isn't that fascinating? Just wild. Okay, so if you have a podcast or something, or a show, you gotta have some sort of bumper. The same one. I know it's gonna get old, but it's the same one. If you ever listen to talk show, radio shows, they have the same, little intro and outro, right? Okay, hey, let's move on to reviews here, shall we?
It's me, Beau. Shove a suit.
Oh, you don't care about that one, do you? Okay, so we're going to get to that beard trimmer in just a little bit. But the beautiful thing about this is that I can play my most popular reviews and comment on them and tell you some of the behind the scenes, a director's cut, if you will. And that I think is so much fun. All right, okay. So this first one should be these picture frames that I was talking about. And if you're looking for great picture frames, awesome. If you already have some, that's great too. But if you just want to be thoroughly entertained, you can do that also. By the way, if you do follow me here on Amazon, it does help the algorithm. That's the only thing I ask of you. I will not spam you. I do not know where you live. That'd be a little weird. Hey, let's roll this first review, shall we? All right, so here we are with this very, very nice picture frame. And hey, there's me. Hello, Beau. I have a bushier beard at that point. And look at that. Oh, by the way, I got to back up here for a moment. Did you see that t-shirt that I was wearing? Now, before any of you accuse me of stolen valor, that t-shirt right there that says United States Space Force, I had that before Space Force was actually officially a thing. Okay? As a matter of fact, a good friend of mine who is a United States Marine veteran, first Anglico, his business printed that shirt for me. So if anybody is like, stolen valor, you're pretending to be a veteran, which I'm not. I'm just a lowly hipster civilian. But that shirt right there, I designed myself. Kind of looks like, I think that logo on that shirt is better than the real Space Force shirt. Can you imagine we have the Space Force? It's just so neat. I wonder what their PT requirements for that is. You know, like how many push-ups you have to do. I mean, you're in zero gravity, so they're like, I don't know, do one. It's like, oh, funny. Okay, all right. Now we're gonna go ahead and continue with these picture frames. These are the American Flat 12 by 18 picture frames. And by the way, I'm gonna pause this right here. That's my buddy. He's on my back because we are testing some handcuffs. I teach self-defense and some MMA down the road, and we were testing some disposable handcuffs. I actually invented my own. They're quite cool, very compact, excellent for riots. Just slip them into your pocket, pull them out, citizen's arrest. You wouldn't do that though. I'm not giving any kind of legal advice on this live broadcast. Boy, if only I could edit this, which I can't. Here we go. All right, check this out. Oh, doesn't that look beautiful? Whoa, look at this. Okay, so this is my hometown of Enumclaw. You can get these old survey maps printed on the USGS website for relatively inexpensive. So if you're looking for an amazing gift for pretty much anybody, they don't even have to be super outdoorsy, but if they are even slightly into history, you can print off these prints and then you can buy this frame right here. Give me a little kickback. And you can put this print into the frame, and the whole gift would probably be under 25 bucks. But what's so neat about these maps is you can just like type in an address and it spits out the location. And that map was of our area surveyed in 1913. Is that what it was? I think it was surveyed in 1911. 1911. And then it was officially published 2 years later, because way back then, the government was even slower. Did I say that? I did say that. I say that as a politician. So basically what I'm talking about right here is the packaging and how it's overpackaged, and yet it did come, and it's basically plexiglass. It's not actual glass, so it didn't come cracked or anything. But you can't tell once it's hung on the wall that it's plexiglass. It's perfectly clear. Just be sure to remove the plastic film, because I did notice in some reviews on this frame that there are a bunch of whiners complaining that that film was all over the top and that it made it cloudy. Well, that's because you're supposed to remove the film. So those poor Amazon sellers probably had to suffer with so many people returning their frames complaining about the cloudy picture frame when it was user error. You ever heard of a picnic? Like PICNIC, picnic. It's an acronym. It means problem in chair, not in computer. And having done tech support for a few years, a while ago, they, oh boy. Oh, computer, stop. Oh boy, that was my Amazon Alexa. The wake word is the PC, if you will. And I have to be careful, because if I say that, and then if I say, computer, stop. If I say that and then I say another keyword, it will shut down my entire office, including this broadcast. Can you imagine that? If I accidentally slipped at one point, and then all the lights, the camera, everything went off. So, gotta be a little careful here. However, it's really convenient walking into my office and saying the wake word on my Alexa and then saying it, and everything just lights up. It's so neat. It's so automated. Oh, I just geek out. But that's because everything is plugged into one of those smart plugs, including my lights. And I stole that from another Amazon influencer. His name is Hayden Wilkins. If you're not following him, do that. He's a fantastic fellow. So anyway, that's a little commentary on this fantastic picture frame. But what makes a picture frame is the print, or the picture itself. And so go over to Costco, go over to Walgreens, print off something nice and cheap, and then just dress it up nicely. When you put something in a picture frame, all of a sudden, it makes your house look like a gallery. And if you're like me, you probably have a bunch of outdated photos on your walls and outdated dusty frames that you probably got at a garage sale. It's time to update your house and make it look like a gallery. No pressure. Hey, let's move on to one of my favorite reviews ever. This is a stress test for carbon monoxide detectors. I know what you're thinking right now. Beau, how did you test carbon monoxide detectors? Well, I did it safely. Don't worry. So that's why Beau's like this. Lost a few brain cells. No. You'll see exactly how I test it in a very safe way. Remember, safety is in my top 5. It used to just be in my top 10. Now it's in my top 5. All right, here we go. I spent a bucket load of money to buy the top-selling carbon monoxide detectors on Amazon. And I'm going to tell you my big takeaway. Well, I'm going to remove all of my existing carbon monoxide detectors, and I'm going to replace it with this one brand. Let's hop into the test. All right, guys, do you want to see something incredibly rednecky and yet kind of genius? Hello, little minions. I am coming to you today with the top 5 carbon monoxide detectors. Yes, as you can see, it is plugged right up against my truck. Now, there's a lot of people out there saying this is not a good test because there are other particulates such as moisture coming out of your exhaust, and those could clog up some of the sensors. I don't know about you guys, but I want that. I'm going to pause it right there and actually address why I want that. So, by the way, each of these carbon monoxide detectors that you saw right there are highlighted in the carousel down below, but only one brand comes out ahead. Spoiler alert, the other ones, they didn't even go off in this test. But more to what I was saying right here, why do I want other things like moisture from the engine potentially clogging these sensors? I think that's a real world test of a carbon monoxide detector. So you see a lot of YouTube reviews out there because I'm a consumer. I look up things on YouTube before I buy them, especially when there's a potentially life-threatening situation like carbon monoxide in our house, which is odorless and tasteless and among the world's most deadly poisons, similar to iocane powder. You saw where I was going with that, didn't you? So a lot of people get this spray can of carbon monoxide and they go and they spray it in the detector, and the detector goes beep 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 and it goes off. That's a cute test, but that's like pure carbon monoxide that you're spraying in there. What I want is to simulate, well, let's say my car is running out in the driveway and there's a leak in my garage or my house, and I get some of those fumes in my house, some of the contaminants, the moisture, because exhaust is very moist coming out of a car. If you've ever been really cold and you've hovered around your exhaust, no, don't do that, don't. It's not a laughing matter. But I wanted to know if, in fact, it would compromise the integrity of some of these detectors. So we're going to skip forward in just a second here, and we're going to... when we turn on my truck, we will see which ones go off, which ones do not go off, and you'll be able to see based off of the little... Okay, so you'll see in the upper right, not really, but there's a hole, and oh, see, I just turned it on. Do you see all that plastic billow out? Wait. Oh boy, was I on mute there? I was on mute. It's because I didn't want you to hear the beep, beep, beep of the carbon monoxide alarms. It's very loud, very annoying. But what I was saying before I was so rudely muted by technology is the kitty one that's going off right here is in the description below. And so this went off first. We're going to turn it up a little. And it just died. Up there doesn't even have a oh wait, oh, there it goes. They're not actually, oh wait, one's finally going off. Boy, that took a while. Okay, I have to comment on this. I have to go back a little bit. Look at all the moisture in there. There's so much gross stuff coming out of my truck exhaust right there. And oh boy. Okay, so what I found in this very rednecky test is that the only carbon monoxide alarms that went off were these kitty or kide. Let's see. Wait, phonetically, what would that be? Kitty, kitey, kide. So kitty. I think it'd be kitty because there's two consonants that makes the vowel say its name. Haha! Homeschooling. All right. So I have these highlighted in the description down below, and they're very reasonably priced. I won't actually mention the price because someone might actually take down my stream for mentioning a price, because who knows, maybe in an hour it's going to go up by $80 or something. But if you get on, they're actually very, very reasonably priced. So you can see the carbon monoxide detectors down there with over 22,000 reviews. I'm going to mention the price. It's $15 for the one that I'm pointing at right there. $15.34. That's amazing. Would you pay that to save your life? Of course you would. Now, the ones that I also have highlighted, the X-Sense. This comes with a 10-year battery, and I was rooting for this one because the last thing I want to do is wake up in the middle of the night and change batteries in these carbon monoxide detectors, because as you well know, the batteries only die in the middle of the night. Yeah, so this one with the 10-year battery life didn't even work. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even show any ratings on there. Did they take this thing down? I don't know if they took that down, but I'm not going to recommend them anyway. Yes, this is one of those live broadcasts where I throw some shade. I call it how it is. So this first alert one did not even go off in my very down and dirty test. You know, I'm not a scientist or anything, but I figure that if you hook up a carbon monoxide detector up to the back of your truck, odds are something's gonna go off, right? You would think of anything that would trip an alarm, it would be that. And yet there were, 2 out of the 5 that didn't even go off. So once again, it was the kitty alarms that operated correctly. Eventually they did die because I think there was just so much pouring into it. And I don't think they're designed to have that much of a concentration. But they did go off first, and they did sense that there was a pollutant, a poison. Yeah, carbon monoxide is a poison. Is that right? Yeah. Carbon dioxide is not. Although politicians at one point did label it as an evil gas. Yes, we're talking about the stuff that you exhale. This evil gas that must be regulated and taxed. We must tax your very breath. Oh, man. Oh, what's our world coming to? Anyway, I won't get political. Hey, let's move on to this clothing steamer, shall we? This one's kind of fun. Beau Chevasuit, today we are coming to you with this steamer. It gets rid of all sorts of wrinkles. We're actually going to show you how it works. And also, real quickly, there are some other models out there that kind of look like this. This is significantly smaller. It also has a shorter cord. So if you're looking for a travel size, this. However, for 99% of you, you're probably going to want this guy right here. So let's hop right into this. Oh, look at that. Look at that. There's the bumper right there. Oh, we are creatures of habit. I've actually since removed that bumper because I think some people stop watching when they see that. Yeah, even though it's like 2 seconds. First of all, you can either put this under your phone. Ah, hey, did you notice that for a moment? Did you notice that? A quick little production thing here. I think it's called the J fade. someone in the film world, you should tell me that. But it's this concept of you hear the audio, you hear someone talking while you're still looking at the previous scene. Does that make sense? So instead of a scene is going along where a guy is walking and then it cuts and then he's cycling, okay? And maybe he's singing a song, la di da di da, as he's walking. And then as he's cycling, you hear traffic noises because now he's cycling among traffic. A J fade, I'm pretty sure it's called that, is where that traffic noise is underneath, it's underlaid his running scene. So it almost anticipates the senses and you know sort of what's coming next. Now, there are some filmmakers out there who don't do a very good job at this, and there's too much of that audio, like 5 seconds of the next scene coming up. And so you're just kind of like looking around the scene like, what's making that noise? Are they going to justify it? And the person on the screen is just ignoring the noise. And then it goes into, I think one movie, was it Transformers that did that? Some famous movie just drove me absolutely crazy. Like they just elongated that audio in it. It just was so confusing. Okay, so this is essentially how you can vacuum your clothes with steam. You'll see right here, picture a tea kettle that you plug in, you push the button, and it starts burbling within 2 minutes. That's the same concept with this little guy. It's rather ingenious, and they're a dime a dozen on Amazon. However, this one is special because it has a very long cord, and it comes with a plastic cup. I know. At the very beginning, I actually show the plastic cup right there. Oh, wait, no, that's boiling. Let's go back a little bit. There it is. See that plastic cup right there? I'm spilling water everywhere. Don't worry, it is unplugged. I didn't spill water all over electronics. But this thing is fascinating. Let's watch the side by side, shall we? And we're going up and down like this. My wife specifically uses this steamer in the morning time when she doesn't want to bust out the iron, and yet she only has about 15 minutes to get ready and to run off to work, and still wants to look somewhat presentable to get some of these wrinkles out. Already you can see the difference between the right-hand side and the left-hand side. It's the steam is smoothing out all those wrinkles. You'll also see that it's kind of up against the wall. Sometimes it's kind of nice to sort of press it. Not too much, of course, because I don't want hot steam to be going up against my drywall. But you'll see that it is sucking away all the wrinkles. How neat is that? So already side by side, you'll see that some of the texture there is much smoother compared to all. Oh yeah, look at all those dimples over there. That's horrible. You wouldn't go to work like that. Oh goodness, no. And even if you work from home, you should still dress up. You shouldn't start working in your pajamas. I know it's tempting, but if you actually go that extra mile when you get out of bed and actually put on something presentable, you'll most likely, because psychologically it prepares you to be more effective. Plus, don't just work at home. Get out of the building. That was one of my most important lessons that I learned from some small business training here in downtown Seattle a long time ago. The guy said, get out of the building. As an entrepreneur, go to a coffee shop, use Wi-Fi elsewhere, go meet with someone elsewhere. Because when you are stuck in the building, that psychologically makes you get paralysis by analysis. You're comfortable just right here. So you'll notice in all of these reviews that I am out and about. I'm not just in the studio right here doing an unboxing, although I will be doing 2 unboxings right here. But the vast majority of what I bring to you guys is showing B-roll, this stuff actually working out in the field. Because me as a consumer, I want to know that. I just don't want to have someone there and saying, yeah, so this is a glass right here. It's pretty good. And they're just showing it to me. Well, don't show me this. Show me the glass at a party. Show me a little kid throwing it on some concrete. I want to see if it breaks. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. Entertainment, right? Okay, hey, let's move on to this weeder. This is still selling like wildfire. I don't know why. I'm going to highlight it down below. So this weeder is one of those really strange contraptions. It's a tool that you smash into the ground and all the teeth grab the weed, and then you'll see how it works. It's fascinating. But I'm just surprised because I'm looking outside and most of my grass is dead, although my nephew is doing a great job mowing. Looks like a golf course out there. See, isn't this amazing? You guys are supporting me, and then I'm supporting my nephew. Although some of you are probably like, get off your lazy bum, Beau, and go out and mow your own lawn. I could, but you know, it's good for him. Good for him. Make him sweat. That's right. Good job, Tristan. Yeah, thanks for turning off the mower too, because you were bombing my audio. Did you hear that earlier? The rumbling? Yeah, that wasn't me. That was my nephew. Okay, hey, let's move on to weeding, shall we? Okay, so this is my daughter Penny, and I want to show you guys how a kid can weed your lawn. She does a great job here. So first of all, the teeth, you smash in around the dandelion. She pushes it down like this. And then when good stomp. Good job, sweetie. We had to buy her new shoes yesterday. She was maxing them out. They grow up so fast. And then as she pulls it, that pinches the teeth together. So the more you lean, how do I say this? How do I articulate this? It's such a weird contraption. The more leverage you put, the more the teeth pinch together. So if you just pull straight out, the teeth won't engage. So this is a fascinating invention. Plus, what makes it even more fun is see that little orange handle? When she pushes it, it ejects the weed, right? So yesterday, we have this apple tree, a bunch of little rotten apples everywhere, and I could go along and hurt my little millennial back by reaching down and picking up these rotten apples. I don't want to do that. So I used this thing, and I went along almost as if it was a croquet hammer, and I would poke some rotten apples, and I'd lift it up, and using this, check it out. Watch how Penny does it. See, when you push it, it goes off like that. It ejects the weed. And in this case, I ejected all these rotten apples. And it was wonderful because a long time ago as a little kid, I got stung by a hornet picking Asian pears at my first job right down the street. And since then, it has traumatized me to pick up rotten fruit. So instead, I could use this thing. I just poke it and it's on the end, kind of like, I don't know, a pool cue with an apple on the end. That's not a very good analogy, but you get my point. And then the landscaping bin was like 10 feet away, and I'd go, whoosh, and it would eject it, and it would fly across. And it was like a game. I must have picked up 100 apples. It was amazing, and it didn't hurt my back at all. So if you don't want to crawl around on your lawn on hands and knees doing some weeding, this will allow you to stand up, or you can give your child 10 cents a weed, depending on whether or not inflation has hit quite yet. And they can make a little money, and you can make your lawn all healthy. So this is the Fiskars Weed Puller. The title is a little funky. It says Fiskars 3399501-B. Whoo, come on, guys. It's a bestseller on Amazon with over 18,000 reviews. Can you get on and change your title? Yeah. So, but I have it highlighted in the carousel down below if, in fact, you are interested in buying this thing. Oh, it's just so fascinating. Hey, let's move on to, this one's fun. So right up the road from where I live is a wonderful ski resort called Crystal Mountain. And I couldn't help but notice that they had the ability right there on the ski slope, they had a yurt, as in like a big tent. You know what a yurt is? Mongolian traditional tent. Anyway, so you could go into this thing, it's fully wired, fully heated. There was a little cash register there with a gal. And you could buy hot chocolate. Now you may be wondering, how in the world are you able to make hot chocolate at the top of a ski run with minimal electricity going there? Check. Hey guys, we're in a yurt. Check out this fantastic water dispenser. We just made hot chocolate out of it. This little water dispenser was so darn cool I had to make a video of it. So yes, we got hot chocolate out of this thing. You'll see that the hot water is dispensed by kind of sliding that switch to the side, and that's to kind of just prevent little kids from just coming up and pushing that down, getting hot water coming out of there. And of course you can get regular temperature and cold water as well. And of course you got a little tray, and let's take a look at the inside, shall we? So this is where all the clean, fresh water goes. You just put that little contraption on, goes through the tube up there. You do have to plug this in, of course. You do actually need electricity, so you By the way, I do need to point out what is so unique about this water dispenser. Now, you'll notice that most water dispensers in an office type scenario, you got to pick it up with your legs because they're usually pretty heavy jugs, and then you put it upside down and it goes gook, 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 you know, that classic. This, on the other hand, all you need to do is drag it over, because you can actually see later on in the review. See over there on the left underneath that very nice looking table with the live edge? Ooh, that's nice. Wonder if they sell that on Amazon. So you can effectively just drag a jug over, open up that little cabinet underneath and slide it in. You don't have to pick this thing up and try to tip it upside down, and hopefully it's gonna pierce correctly and it's gonna actually engage. So when we were in Jordan doing some mission work there a little while ago, and they had these everywhere, and so you had to lug this from the bottom floor all the way to the top floor, and it was just rather heavy, and it would have just been nice if they would just have them right there and just slide it in. Again, first world problem. I didn't complain, but just to say that this is a brilliant design. Absolutely brilliant. Also, fun little production thing here. You probably noticed that in my intro, go ahead and take a listen to the audio.
We're in a yurt. Check out this fantastic water dispenser.
Okay, all right, so you got that. You heard a lot of background noise, you heard some music, you heard my daughters chirping away because they were drinking their hot chocolate. Now I'm gonna skip forward a little bit and then listen to the audio. Water is dispensed by kind of sliding that switch to the side, and that's to kind of just prevent little kids from just coming up and pushing that down, getting hot. Right. So you may notice immediately that the audio is much better. Like, what happened, Beau? Well, that's because sometimes when I'm in a public place, it's a little weird where I'm actually narrating and talking. It's like, hey guys, it's me, Beau. And they're like, wow, it's like Blippi who's gone off the deep end. So all of this, I was not talking. I was just capturing B-roll and floating around, which is much more unassuming than taking video and talking and narrating at the same time. It makes more work for me, but what I do is I take this footage, I take it back, and then I watch it a few times, and then I'm like, oh, that's what I wanted to highlight. And then I simply narrate over it with this exact microphone, right? So I'm not bothering the people there, except for my intro. Hey guys, we're in a yurt. That's just fun. I did ask the employees permission. I said, this is a great thing. I'll give you a shout out. Exposure points. Thank you, Crystal Mountain, for having a wonderful setup here and being fantastic to your patrons and customers, because we were cold, we were grumpy, and we just went in there and we got hot chocolate, and it was just a wonderful family time. So you can get cold water and hot water from this exact same dispenser. And if you are looking for a dispenser that arguably has hundreds of people using this every single year, then it's tough. It works. It'll work for you as well. So, not mean to overpressure you on anything, but there's that cool little water dispenser. Hey, let's move on to a very fun review. Do you want to see me climb out a window in the event of a fire? I was actually just looking at this thing. I have it rolled up in my garage outside. I didn't actually put it up, and I'm going to show you why. But first, we're going to actually watch my review, which, by the way, this is my footage. This is nobody else's footage, right? That's key. I just say that because in the middle of the night, when you're on Amazon Live here, and there are some people from overseas attempting to do an Amazon Live, you can tell they don't have any of these products because they're showing sometimes my videos. I'm like, wait a second, that's me. And they're like, here is this crazy man named Mr. Beau. And Mr. Beau is going to show us how this fire ladder works. And I'm like, that's not very nice. And believe me, get on in the middle of the night. It's fascinating, really, really fascinating how these folks, you can tell they're not even in their home. They're just probably lined up in an office building, and they just churn out these live streams. So I appreciate you guys recognizing that I am authentic. This is the real McCoy. And I am here in the United States of America. Nothing against live streaming elsewhere. Godspeed you. But I just think there's something magical about me actually using the products and telling you about them and actually filming them. Okay? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, roll it.
However, there's some vital hints, tips, and tricks that I need to pass on to you guys.
Before you even start this video, before I show you the demonstration of how this goes together, you need to practice, 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 because I was going through this with my kids. I was surprised to find a few things that they couldn't quite do, like pop out the screen or even unlock the window. It's a heavy window, or this is a surprise. Due to the design of this thing, once it's in position, look at this. See this gray tab? You have to pull that, which deploys that ladder, unfolding it all the way down like an accordion.
Isn't that so cool? Look at that. Look at that. It just goes all the way to the ground, like 2 stories up. Amazing. So this is the Kitty fire ladder. Incredibly, these are the exact same people who've made the carbon monoxide detectors that I tested just earlier, and you saw that they were the only ones that worked. And so I was like, wow, this brand is pretty awesome. Let's see what other things that they sell. And they have this fire ladder. Because, you know what? Some places in people's houses, they're kind of bottlenecked. And they, in the event of a fire, let's say there's a fire in their hallway or something, they can't get around that. So this allows you to have another access or escape point. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you clip it on your window and you pull that gray tab and down it deploys. However, there are some instances where this may not actually work all the way. I will show you.
However, I can reach it. I'm an adult. But for a kid, Penny, who's 6 years old, she couldn't reach it. Lucy could barely even grab it like
don't worry, Grandma and Grandpa, if you're watching this, my wife is here and I am holding the back of their shirt very tightly. No, I'm not willingly dangling my child out the window. It's perfectly safe. Again, safety's in my top 5. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys how in an instance where a child would have to deploy this thing, they can't reach that tab. This is way down there. So hopefully Kitty actually changed this design. I don't know if they did, but you might have to kind of jerry-rig this thing so that those red straps go up a little bit. I'll show you actually an idea that I think they should employ. So Kitty fire ladder people, if you're watching this live stream, I got some design feedback from a real life consumer for you, okay?
this, even while standing on her sister's back to try to access that. So guys, this may not actually work for some people. I almost wish that the design, they made it a little shorter, like up here, so that the kids could actually grab that deployment rip tab and pull it, instead of all the way down here. They're doing this and they can't quite grab it. Their arms are just too short. So I hope they do some design changes here. Hello Amazon.com, it's me, Beau, coming to you today with a cat that's fleeing the room because they sense that there's flames, there's fires in the house. So first of all, what you need to do is drill, drill, drill. If you expect your kids just to pick this up and remember how to use it, they probably won't. There's a lot of variables that you can't anticipate when you go to deploy something as simple as this design is, which I'm gonna show you how it's mounted. Things like closing the bedroom door so that when you open up the window, it's not creating a draft. You're gonna have to coach them on some things like this. Another thing to keep in mind before we even set this up on your windowsill is there stuff on the windowsill? If your kids are like mine, they have stuff stacked all over the place. It's a messy bedroom. Another thing that you must be aware of, see the screen? Now, you and I were adults. We can probably just punch through that, right? If it's a little kid, like our 6-year-old, she might come over here to pull the screen off, and look at this. This just popped right off. It's a brittle piece of plastic. That tab, you can no longer pull this.
By the way, I just noticed with my subtitles here, I don't know what's wrong with this software, but it says it's a beautiful piece of plastic. It's not a beautiful piece of plastic. It's a brittle piece of plastic. Anyway, all these subtitles are technically being sent to Google, and they dissect my audio and they instantly send feedback. And apparently, yeah, well, let's see if it even gets my name. Beau. Hey, it did. Wow, well done. Wow. I would think that I'd have to actually say it phonetically. Beau. View to the fastest. I really hope something they don't think I'm saying anything obscene at some point. Okay, so this fire ladder is it might work for some, but I would say there are other things that you should prioritize. Now, I'm not a firefighter here, so take this with a grain of salt. But I would say if you're going to pour resources and money into something, this is probably one of those things pretty down the road that you should purchase, as opposed to a fire extinguisher in every room. That would probably be a more sound decision. Does that make sense? Or updating your carbon monoxide and smoke detectors in your house to ones that actually work, unlike the other ones that you saw earlier, which did not work. Does that make sense? So this is kind of one of those secondary things that kind of plays off of the emotions. Like, oh, what if your children are trapped and they can't jump out? And, you know, there are multiple exit points for our bedrooms. And so this is kind of one of those rare occurrences. Let's say that you have a cabin out in the woods. And okay, in that case, you need as many tools as possible to be fairly autonomous, because you don't have, let's say, a firefighter to show up in the nick of time because we have a fire station right down the street. Does that make sense? Okay. But this thing is pretty fun. I do actually show myself going down it. It gets pretty wobbly. Do you want to see me fall? Of course you do. No, I'm not gonna fall. Slapstick humor. I wouldn't do that. Put my life on the line at your expense, laughing.
Outside, you're gonna open it up like this, and then out we go, and then hook it on the outside and then onto the inside. Now, it's designed in such a way that the more weight you put on it, the more it bites into the house.
Oh, interesting. It's like leverage in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The more leverage you put, the more it bites it, similar to the Fiskars weed puller. Brilliant. If you're an engineer, you appreciate this.
Then after it's in position, you reach out here and there's a Velcro tab. And once you pull that, it fans out, sort of like an accordion all the way down. You will swing quite a bit because that ladder is about 6 inches away from the house. And it looks like the cat almost went out all by herself.
Yeah, you ever seen a cat jump out a window? They're amazing creatures. I'm pretty sure it's impossible for them to break any kind of bones. I need to look this up, but I found out yesterday that squirrels can reach terminal velocity and still land perfectly safe. They kind of do this fan out thing. Amazing creatures. Cats are amazing also, only when they have fun personalities and they kill evil rodents in your neighborhood. Then we have an understanding of these wonderful creatures. But if you just kind of have them sit there and judge you in your house, well, of course you're not going to like animals like that. Cats. I noticed that most people don't like cats when they just kind of sit there and judge you. I wouldn't either. But ours are wonderful and adorable. So I would give this thing about a 4 out of 5 stars. It does work. It does. But you can't put it back. That's another thing, is that it's pretty much a one-time use like a fire extinguisher. It's not like a carbon monoxide detector where, hey, it goes off, you can probably continue to still use it. This thing, once you pull that tab and it fans out like an accordion, like I said, that's pretty much it. It's really, really difficult to gently put it back in place. It's possible, but it's going to take you like a full episode of Scrubs to put it back in place. And that's what I would recommend when using emergency type equipment. You want to drill with it so that in an actual emergency, it's not your first time experiencing it. That's pretty much key for any emergency gear. You want to know your equipment. You want to know your tools. You only are as good as you know your tools. You know, so many people in their survival kits, they say, well, I've got a fishing rod in there. When was the last time you fished? I mean, yeah, oh, I got my bug out bag and I'm going to go out to the woods and I'm going to live off the land. Yeah, you and 10,000 other people who have the exact same idea to go out to the woods and live off the land. So, oh boy, now I'm making fun of all my fellow preppers. Okay, all right, let's not do that though. We're going to move on to one of my other top selling items right here. This is a fascinating thing. Now, if you don't like cables or cords, if you're like my lovely wife who says that the more cords you have, the uglier your house looks, and which is a shame, because if you were to look around my office right here, it looks like, you know, that scene from the Matrix, like the last Matrix, where all the cables and cords and machines are going everywhere over Neo. That's basically it. As a matter of fact, if they were to spring to life right now, I'd probably have enough cords and cables to lift me off the ground and plug into the back of my head. So cables, I figure that cables plug into fun things like cameras or drones or microphones or other things, right? So I figure the more cables you have, the more toys you have. The more toys you have, the more fun you have. Therefore, more cables equals more fun. That's a fallacy, by the way. But if I convinced a lot of you, oh, you shouldn't be voting. So my wife says that you should hide cables, because if you open up a country living magazine, you never see any cables. It's like, what happened to them? Do the lights even work? Because I'm pretty sure they went along with a pair of scissors and just trimmed off all the cables, because that lamp is in the middle of the room on a hardwood floor, and is it a wireless? Is it wirelessly being charged? So this is a great way of hiding cables in your kitchen. Check it out. All right, so this thing right here essentially goes over your plug like that right there. And I think this is one of my most helpful reviews. It's because I compare two different sizes, and you can see all these comments on the page saying, what size should I get? What size should I get? I immediately recommend the one on the left, which is the universal one. The one on the right is a bit smaller, and you want to actually have enough coverage to cover the entire plate. And I'm going to show you in just a moment what I mean here, because when I plug that in, do you see the plate? It's kind of peeking out. It's not flush on the backsplash. And this is the smaller of the two versions. So if you want to hide your outlets completely, then get the universal kind. But of course, that begs the question, Beau, why even have an outlet when you're going to be hiding it? It renders it unusable, right? Aha, not necessarily. Because at the bottom of this plate is, as you can see right there, an extension cord. And on the end of that extension cord, I'm going to actually scroll ahead here so I can show you guys when you plug that in. At the end of the extension cord, oh, little choppy, catching up with me. There we go, right there. That's on the end of it. Amazing, huh? So if you are one of those people with cords everywhere, with a toaster and an espresso machine and all these cords getting in the way of your kitchen, you can pare all those cords down to one. That would be this thing. And then you plug it into your wall, you hide the outlet, no grease, no bacon grease splattering in the morning will get into all your electricity in there. And instead it keeps it nice and sealed, and you run this thing down along the backsplash. It actually comes with some little tabs that you can use to kind of clip this cord into so that cable stays in place. And then the end of the extension cord that you see right there, that's where you plug in all your goodies. And so down to the right, you can't see in this footage right here, but down to the right, we have our espresso maker. And I have this cord going all the way down, and all the cables are tussed up and tied up and hidden behind that espresso machine. Brilliant, right? You've just simplified your kitchen. Oh, I love it.
2, 3. This is not one of those extension cords that happens to have another one on the other side. Sometimes they can double up. This one does not. It's just 3 on one side, okay? All right, also they do come with a whole bunch of little tacky strips, as well as these cable organizers. So if you wanted to hide this, so let's say for example this, I wanted it to come straight down like so, I could use this elbow to pop it down like that and have it go straight down. Honestly, I don't really care because the cable down there is pretty well hidden by all of my coffee syrups.
Nice, very nice. So that's pretty much it. You don't need to watch the whole thing there, but isn't that just a brilliant design? So it's an extension cord that simplifies your cords in your kitchen, and it covers up essentially an ugly outlet. Incredible, huh? So there you go. For $24.95, you can, I'd recommend getting the universal size, which is the bigger size, unless you really want to go in and you want to measure and you want to just get it exactly precise. But we don't have that old outlets, so I was kind of surprised that the smaller kind did not actually cover our plates completely. Interesting, huh? Now, another one of my reviews that has taken off is rather bizarre because I just uploaded this one not but a few days ago. Lysol all-purpose cleaner. Apparently cold flu season is coming along because all of a sudden everybody's watching me compare and contrast two of the top Lysol cleaners. We've got this all-purpose cleaner, which is kind of a lemony scent. As a matter of fact,
So I wanted to compare these two side by side. First,
you don't need to hear the melodious sound of my voice. And so, as you can see right here, we've got our Kitchen Pro antibacterial, and then we also have the all-purpose antibacterial. What in the world is the difference? I'm going to tell you right now. The one on the right has 45% more. Do you know how I know that? You can see it yourself. I know. It reminds me of the days where you'd work at Costco and you'd be in the electronics department and someone would come in and say, how many HDMI ports does this TV have? And I would observe a store associate in a red vest, and he would go over and he would kneel down, look at the box, and the box says there are four HDMI ports. The guy doesn't know. He just knows how to read a box. So as a consumer, you yourself have the ability to look and read things. Oh, it's 45% more. Now, there are some things you don't know, and that's where I try to fill in some of those blanks. Mainly the smell. The one on the left, this Kitchen Pro antibacterial cleaner, it has kind of this fresh linen smell. Picture your laundry coming out of your dryer, nice and fresh, nice and clean, not using any kind of fabric softener, which apparently clogs up washers these days. I didn't know that. I've been watching TikTok, and TikTok has been serving me all sorts of fascinating videos that the algorithm knows my age demographic, and all of a sudden I'm watching these videos on washers and what detergent to use. Like, really, guys? Really? The algorithm knows me. Oh. And I watched the whole thing. So now that the algorithm serves me the same stuff, learning all sorts of things about fabric softener. Anyway, where was I? Australia. So Kitchen Pro antibacterial, the one on the left, smells kind of like a fresh linen, and it's quite delightful. Comes in a 2-pack, very, very reasonably priced. As a matter of fact, if you're going to buy some of these at the store, at Walmart, Costco, Winco, Safeway, QFC, Kroger's, depending on where you're tuning in from, might as well just get it on Amazon because it's pretty darn cheap. The one on the left did come shrink wrapped, sealed. So if they ship it and it springs a leak, it's not going anywhere. The one on the right, it just kind of came loose in a box. I was kind of surprised that it didn't spring a leak because yesterday I did receive some liquid detergent cleaner stuff. We use it to spray down our BJJ mats, and that one had sprung a leak, and it was pretty gross. I felt bad for the UPS driver who delivered that thing. Yeah. So Amazon sellers, if you're gonna sell some of this stuff, maybe seal it in a bag of some kind. Yeah. But both of them have the exact same kind of heads. They spray just as well. The one on the right just smells like a nice lemony zest, almost like you're baking a lemon cheesecake. And it is quite nice, quite delicious. But apparently it kills COVID-19 because that's what it says right above there. And so if you were looking ahead to cold and flu season, when inevitably the government decides we have the next pandemic. Oh, did I just say that? Oh, won't get political. But, it is nice to spray down your bathroom, your toilet, your sink, and your kitchen. And this stuff cuts through the grease so beautifully. So Lysol Kitchen Pro antibacterial cleaner, all-purpose cleaner. There you go. Go ahead and set that up as a subscribe on Amazon, and they'll deliver some every few weeks in the same way that you've probably subscribed to your toilet paper, because everybody realized, wow, people go crazy when the world is at crisis, and they all go and they buy toilet paper. Do you remember that? What are we going to tell our children how the world dealt and panicked during a crisis around the world? We bought toilet paper. I didn't, but some of you may have out there. Probably bought it here on Amazon. Good for you. Avoid the lines. Nice. Okay, hey, just today I was loading up some paddle boards into the back of my pickup truck. And this thing is an absolute game changer. If you have a pickup truck, if you have an SUV, if you have a large trunk in the back of your car, consider this.
How do you release it? This is not intuitive.
This is 63 inches wide, and I was wondering as I was looking at the Amazon listing, does this actually work on truck bed liners? Now, first of all, fascinating technology here. It's basically like your ratchet strap, similar to this ratchet strap right here. And this just opens up like this. Or if you didn't want to do this, which is gonna take forever, same with the ratchet strap, you can just pull this down like so and pull it out manually. So you pull it out all the way to there, and now it's up against. You can just kind of hold it in place and gently start doing that like so. And just like that, we are in. I guess we can rotate it around like this so that the actual lever won't get in the way.
Isn't that amazing, right? Yeah. So if you have groceries or, you know, in a few weeks, you're going to be getting some pumpkins and you're going to put them in the back of your truck and they're going to be rolling around everywhere, or you're going to put them in your SUV or your car and you're going to go around the corner and you're going to hear the. Consider this, because it's very versatile. You can put this pretty much anywhere in your car. And it's easy to disengage, it's easy to deploy, and you can just snug these right up against your pumpkins. And those pumpkins won't roll around your car or truck bed. Brilliant, huh? Right? Yeah. And it's extremely cheap. I want to say it was only like $24. Let me check the price. Yeah, $24.18. Honestly, I'd spend like quadruple that for this thing. This has been an absolute game changer. So this holds down our paddle boards. I just put them in the back of the truck and I do this. I also have some straps on there just for good measure, because paddle boards can be awfully light. And when you're going along Interstate 5, last thing you want is to have some paddle boards go flying off and hit someone in the windshield. Wow, that escalated quickly. Okay, let's continue this review.
A big unknown that I personally had, and hopefully this will save you a bit of time, is gotta have to kind of lift it up. And then watch this, 3, 2, 1. There it is. And we are disconnected. Wow. Now you can organize your truck, and I think our neighbors have.
Hello, little minions. It's me, Beau. Today, we are going to be experiencing together the unboxing of the...
Wait a second. Was I on mute? I was on mute. Oh, goodness. Oh, that was embarrassing. Hey there, Serene G. Hey, nice to see you. Hey, if I'm ever on mute, you guys let me know, because I've got like, it's like playing a keyboard here. There are so many buttons and switches, and I'm going to need you guys to shout out and be like, Beau, I can't hear you. So earlier, what I was saying about the screaming going on in that previous video review, it's because our wonderful neighbors were drinking root beer floats in their backyard, and they're having a fine time with their beverages and root beer. And so it kind of threw me for a trip, because as I do these things, I like to try to do them in one take. The cargo bar did have a few takes there, but not to try to conceal anything, because as a consumer myself, when I see a little fancy chopped up commercial, I'm cynical and I immediately think, what are they trying to hide? So you will see in the vast majority of my video reviews that I do, I try to keep it in one take. that also means that if I make a mistake and the neighbors are screaming, you'll see it or hear it. So this guy right here has been one of the top sellers right here, this beard trimmer, which I'm trying to get a nice beard going so I can actually demonstrate this for you. But I guess, well, the proof is in the pudding. See, it works. It works right there.
It's all-in-one trimmer from Norelco. I don't know how it's pronounced, but typically I use a little buzzy beard trimmer shaver, hair trimmer from Wahl, W-A-H-L, I think. They're kind of the leading brand when it comes to this stuff. But then this said this did not require oil. Actually, it says it right here. Unlike Wahl, no blade oil required. So this is rather interesting. Anyway, it comes with a nice little case like that. It's got one little, let's see, a little trimmer there, a little trimmer there.
So unboxings are interesting because sometimes I'm kind of torn and I actually want to see an object being used that I'm about to purchase. Other times, I enjoy the unboxings because as a consumer, I want to know what accessories are in here. Does it come with a charging cable? Sometimes I need to buy a USB extension to charge something, right? And so what's the nose hair trimmer actually look like? So unboxings, I used to kind of poo-poo them and be like, oh, those are so silly. If I'm going to unbox it, I'm going to buy it and unbox it myself. But it's kind of nice to see what actually comes with this thing. So clickable coupons. Do you mean, I'm reading the comments right here. Do you mean clickable coupons for this one in particular, specifically? No. Not the Philips Norelco groomer right here. I do not. However, fun little thing about coupons is sellers on Amazon have the power to create these coupons. And if they are going to have coupons, they typically are going to connect them directly to the product listing itself. If you're familiar with Amazon, you always scroll down and it says, click here for an extra $5 off or 10% off or something like that. And I was actually just on Amazon seller's website looking behind the scenes how it's done. And Amazon takes upwards of 40 hours to approve these coupons because Amazon looks through every single coupon code to make sure that it is within compliance. So for example, I've got some tactical multi-tool hair clips. Those are going to be 25% off, which is an amazing deal for multi-tool hair clips. And if Amazon actually gets around to approving the coupon, which I don't know why they need to be gatekeepers for coupon codes, but they like to control some things sometimes. But all this to say is that odds are if you are looking for yes, live streamers sometimes do have access to those little special coupons. In my previous live stream on the tactical hair clips, I did. But what I found lately, most of the coupons are connected to the page itself because oftentimes it's a little bit of a pain to deal with emotional influencers, so to speak. And so those clickable coupons are typically directly connected to the page itself. So if you were to go to some of these pages, you will see some of those coupons on there. So that is it for the reviews right there. Let's go ahead and jump into an unboxing, shall we? And so this right here is a bike U-bolt. Now, bike U-bolts are one of those things that they're difficult to get through. Not impossible, I have noticed. And if you ever look up this guy on YouTube, he can use his lockpicking skills quite incredibly to get through some of these. I have attempted lockpicking, and when it comes to lockpicking, I think it takes a lot of patience. Meanwhile, this guy, he has such finesse in his fingers, he's just like, chick. So after I'm done with this broadcast, after these two unboxings right here, go check out this guy. I think he's called like the lockpicking lawyer. And it's so much fun to watch him crack some of these things. But for me, when I get oh, that's nice. Oh, that's shiny. Oh, good packaging. Yay, no plastic. I can throw this in my burn pit. Nice. Oh, finally, the other one looks like it has a lot of plastic. Oh, I don't know about that. Okay, so the nice thing about having a U-bolt is that you can't quite get through it with a pair of bolt cutters. Although you could probably get through that with a pair of bolt cutters. That's probably just going to be secondary. I think that's a pickle. And for those of you who actually follow my broadcast, you guys actually know what a pickle is. Remember what a pickle is? Remember? It's when you buy a sandwich at a sandwich shop and they give you a large pickle. You know, it doesn't say it on the menu, like, you get a pickle. It's just kind of one of those little delightful things that you get. Like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. This, on the other hand, they are actually broadcasting and publicizing that they do include this cable, but I try to avoid using that, and I just go straight into this. So it comes with one of those keys with the valleys on the sides. It doesn't. Oh, that's easy. Oh, that's lightweight too. That's gonna be fantastic for commuting. So when I go to a coffee shop on my little hipster scooter, I don't necessarily like to leave it just out there for everybody to steal or try to walk away with, if they can, simply because, well, the Seattle area can be a little bit of a high crime. Not in our area. Our police are absolutely magnificent. One of the safest cities in Washington State. Matter of fact, I think last year, the year before, we were in the top 10 safest cities. Yeah, not this past year though. Something violent happened. No, I actually don't know why. Not a laughing matter, Beau. Homicides are not funny. Actually, again, I don't know what happened that made us no longer in the top 10 safest cities. I bet there were car prowlers or something. So that is interesting. Oh, so cool. Check it out. Okay. Oh, so you can see that there's no keyhole right there, but if you rotate it, whoosh, hey, now we can slip this on in, and then away we go. So it does come with 2 keys, as you can see, and oh, it's a little sticky. Let's see if the other one is just as sticky. And can you hear that? Oh, it's like a tuning fork. D major. I actually don't know. My brother would be able to tell though. And let's try to lock this. And you lock it by turning it all the way. Yeah. Uh-oh. We're doing this live. I may have just broken this from Via Velo. Is that the one that I have highlighted right there? The Via Velo one. It's that one right there in the carousel below. There we go. It just needed a little love. Okay, and so it does come with a little mount like so, and that mount is in here. Oh, that's just adorable little box. They should put a bow on that like this. Hence my name is Beau. I wear a bow tie. That's called branding. And we're gonna open this guy up. This must be the mount that goes on the bike itself. Or scooter. That is just so neat. Okay, so you got your bar like this, swoosh, and you put it on there like so, and then once it's on your bike, like there, pretending my index finger is my bike, nice. There will actually be a full video review on this thing eventually, but I just kind of wanted to show you the unboxing of this. And then you see that slit right there, and then that little thing, and then whoosh, goes in, and then rotate it. Hey, that's solid. Oh, that's so cool. So you don't have to put this in your backpack or anything, or sling it over your shoulder. It just locks into place. That is pretty neat. And then out we go like that. Now, typically, I try to keep weight off of my bike frame. And you may be like, but Beau, why? Why do you want to carry it on your person? Well, when you are mountain biking, because a long time ago I used to do quite a bit of mountain biking, did a few races here and there, you want to try to keep all the weight on you. Because your bike, you want to be as light as possible to maneuver. And the last thing that you want to put weight on is the tires themselves, because those are moving the most. And if you want to compound that fatigue, put weight on your tires. And if you want to compound it even more, put weight on the frame. No, you want your bike as light as possible. So if you're mountain biking, don't put heavy stuff like this on there. But if you've just got like this cruiser and you pretty much basically go in a straight line, you're not bunny hopping over stuff, you're not hitting gnarly jumps, you're not going through banks, then probably try to keep it as light as possible. Fun, huh? Hey, let's go ahead and open up our last unboxing right here. And I've got my keys right here. Hopefully I didn't publish those all over the internet, thereby just compromising the security of my bicycle and scooter. Hey, let's go track down Beau. I was able to replicate his key that I saw on his live stream. No, I'm not paranoid. Okay, so this one is going to be the last little unboxing right here. This is just so much fun. So check it out right there. There's something therapeutic about this. So much fun. It's just here. Let's pull it together. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I'm not that materialistic. And if your identity is in buying stuff on the internet, shame on you. Shame on you. You should go to church. All right. Okay. Now we're gonna get this plastic, throw it on the ground. That's gonna decompose in 200 years. We're gonna open it up together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Angels come out. Wow. Angels come out. What is this, Beau? Is this like that scene in Indiana Jones where things come out of the chests of the Ark of the Covenant when you open it? Don't look! You'll melt like a wax figure. Oh, this is heavier. Oh, do you know why this is heavier? Ooh, look at it's longer. That is cool. And then we're gonna pull the plastic off. Fun fact, you see this thing right here? Warning, to avoid danger of suffocation. Basically, it's not a toy. That is required on Amazon. Few people know this, but I have the unique vantage point of knowing a lot about the selling side, and then also about the consumer side, and then also about the selling side. If there is an opening more than 5 inches, then you are required by Amazon policies to have this printed on there. Do not use as a toy. And it may seem like a no-duh. It's like, who's giving this to a child? Really now? But it's just the policy that they have, and they've always had it. So if you ever see a plastic bag without that warning on there, odds are the opening is less than 5 inches. Amazing, huh? Right. And then, whoa boy. And then we can use this as a hat. No, I'm not going to do that. That's not funny. You're not supposed to put it on your head, Beau. Okay, hey, on to this here. Okay. Oh, wait, this one comes with 3 keys. Good job. Wow, and it's even cheaper. It comes with 3 keys. Nice job. Okay, mad respect. Let's try to get it off the zip tie here. Oh, I can't. Whatever am I going to use to cut through this zip tie? If only there was something sharp around me. Aha. Oh, let's see if I'll lacerate myself on Amazon Live. Oh boy. Quick. At least I know someone would call the ambulance if I did, because I mean, this is probably the best possible way to be working with sharp implements of destruction. Okay, so there we go. We got the keys off. Let's go ahead and open this up. This is so much fun. Oh, this is rubberized. Oh, that's cool. That is really cool. Oh, kind of has this rubberized type texture, sort of like a tire tread. That is neat. And of course, just like the other one, it has the keyhole right in there. Let's see if this is smoother. Oh, that's smoother. You know what? This bike U-lock, the 20 millimeter heavy U-bolt, it's $10 cheaper than the one. Wow, that's amazing. Hey, Victoria, you're from Yakima. Woo, how's the heat over there? Oh, man, mad respect. Matter of fact, I think we're going to be going to Wenatchee at some point over there. And so I'm looking forward to some warm weather. Hey, that's nice. That is really nice. It rattles a little bit, but man, that is sturdy. U-bolts are the way to go. So if you have a bike, you know what? Just add that little bit of extra security, because when my wife and I went down to get some pho in our little town, we didn't have anything like this. So that's why I bought these things. And I was kind of ashamed because we sort of had to tie up our scooters with a long piece of rope to try to deter a thief. Because as you guys know, opportunity is theft. And so if you make it difficult for someone, then odds are they're going to pass you up. You know, thieves and junkies, they're looking for that low-hanging fruit. And it is in the 90s today. Right on. I think it's around, early 80s, low 80s, early 80s. What time is it, Beau? It's 90 degrees time. So this bike U-lock also comes with, there we go. Gotta sharpen that knife. Ooh, I reviewed a knife sharpener. Oh, it's a game changer. But I gotta actually sharpen that. Okay, here we go. Actually comes with a rubberized braided cable. Ooh, that's nice. That's very nice. Okay, so again, at some point, someone will be able to get through this thing. If you expect your really nice carbon fiber racing bike to be on the streets of Seattle overnight, that's not going to protect it. However, if you go into a coffee shop and you are still able to kind of look outside and see your bike, this will definitely slow someone down. And so that's how I personally view bike locks. They're not a perfect solution to stopping. Honestly, the most perfect solution is to take all of your tires off and the seat and leave nothing but the frame. Then and only then a thief will walk by and be like, I can't sell that on Craigslist. So there you go. Oh boy, this was lots of fun. So as you guys well know, if you tuned into today's broadcast, I talked about my top most helpful video reviews. Again, what makes me unique as an influencer is I try to show the B-roll outside of the studio of these things working. And very, very rarely, as indicated right here, I show unboxings. And there was only two out of the, how many products did I have today? 15? How many? I don't know, I lost count. But the beautiful thing about this is that I only a few unboxings and mostly showing out in the field how these things work. So I am now going to go install this on my bike and actually show how it works. And then when you go to this product at some point, whether it's today or tomorrow or however long it takes Amazon to actually approve my videos to make sure that there's nothing obscene in there, then you'll be able to actually see it installed on the bike itself. And that's what makes me excited about presenting this information in hopefully an entertaining way to you guys. If you're curious about me, Beau Chevasu, oh, goodbye, Victoria. Thanks for dropping in. If you're curious about me, Beau Chevasu, I do have a bow tie, hence why my name is Beau. I'm broadcasting live just south of Seattle in a little town called Enumclaw. It's wonderful here, right on the King County, Pierce County border. If you're swinging through, buy you a cup of coffee or maybe an ice cold one. Root beer, that is. Okay, so make sure the Amazon Live moderators know that about me. Can't say anything else or else you're gonna stop my live stream. More about me, so all these things behind me, I have collected these kitchen utensils from around the world, and I have been to over 33 different countries because I run a nonprofit film studio where I produce films for other nonprofits. And so that's what I do for a living, and partially also doing these live broadcasts, a lot of video reviews. So if you click on a lot of products around Amazon, you'll probably see my face. And I ramble a lot less because I cut out some of that stuff, and I know that I have only 2 or 3 minutes to get information across, but some people like tuning in and hearing a little bit about me as an individual, and that's what I do. Yeah. I think we're going to be going to Jordan, maybe Mexico coming up. I like to do a lot of Latin American countries because it's less harsh on the body, changing time zones, as opposed to some friends who went over to Africa. I think they're still there, and you need like 2 or 3 straight solid days just to recover because it's such a shock on the body. And then by that time, you're like, oh man, I spent all this money to come help these people, and I've already essentially lost 3 days, as opposed to serving kind of along the Latin American, is it latitude, longitude? Longitude. You pretty much stay in the same time zone, so it's pretty easy. It's usually just a day and a half of flying, depending on where you're going. Like we went to Bolivia, our family went to Nicaragua, Guatemala a few times. Bolivia was just so much fun. Peru, recently went to Peru. Woo, we were as high as Mount Rainier. It was awesome going around along these mountain roads. My dear wife did not necessarily like the mountain roads, but that's the fun thing about these things, is that I like to take a lot of these things that I buy on Amazon and I actually show you out in the field in the mountains of Peru how these things work. Now, the bike lock is probably not the greatest example because I like to travel fairly lightweight, and this thing, unless I'm using this for protection, I'm not packing this in my pack. As a matter of fact, when we went to Jordan for 2 weeks, myself and my 2 daughters, we only took carry-ons. Yes, that's right. I know Americans are famous for, I don't want to say overpacking, because most people I know who pack a lot of stuff, they pack very intentionally and they never miss anything. But we went there to go very lightweight and serve up there on the Syrian border. I taught photography to Syrian refugees, specifically photography as a business model. So a lot of people know how to take photos, like on Instagram. There's some great artists on there, but how do you monetize that? How do you invoice a client? How do you produce an estimate for a client? What do you do with your money? Do you just pocket it all as a salary, or do you carve some aside for an emergency fund if you're a Dave Ramsey fan? So things like that we taught to these wonderful friends on the Syrian border in Jordan, and some of them may even be tuning in right now over on Facebook. So speaking of Facebook, there's my name right there. If in fact you don't know how to spell it, it's Beau Chevasu. Looks like Butavassus. And if you're on Facebook, go ahead and look me up. And I'd love to be friends over there. And I'm everywhere, whether it's LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn. Who's on LinkedIn? Unless you're a boomer. Oh, did I just say that? No. LinkedIn is valuable when you're looking for a job. But other than that, I'm not going on LinkedIn to be like, hey guys, here's a vacation picture. Who does that? Maybe we should start a trend and start putting all these personal stuff on LinkedIn. This is what I had for breakfast this morning. That's not gonna get you hired the next time a job hunter is looking at you on LinkedIn. So there you go. All right, that's it. Signing off right now. I hope that this was informative and entertaining. I've got other shows coming up at some point, so be sure to follow. Remember, you are special, you are important, and Jesus loves you very much. Signing off.